Hi, my name is Thekaekara and I've come from Gudalur in the Nilgiris. I work with an organization called Accord, which my wife and I founded in 1986, which has been working for the rights of Adivasis, especially their land rights. And I'm right now here at the Azim Premji University in Bangalore, where I have been invited to be part of what is called known as a Practitioner and Residence program, which means somebody like me who's been working for many years in the field with communities, live for a few days on campus, and where it's a mix of taking classes, giving one large lecture, and being available for informal discussions with students and faculty. So I've been here since Monday, and today is Friday when it's the end of the program. And it's been a very hectic 5 days, to be honest, because when I was sent the program, it didn't seem very demanding because it was one session a day, so that I could do with my eyes closed. But then these small informal sessions and everything like that, and also students after every talk following and wanting to ask questions, was actually, to be very honest, a bit tiring, but enjoyably tiring. It wasn't difficult. It was totally enjoyable. And actually, I suppose the best compliment to be paid to any speaker is to have students interested in coming and discussing and asking questions. I really enjoyed this week here, these 5 days. And I suppose the best compliment I was paid was when a group of about 5 or 6 students waylaid me and said, "Sir, we have a confession to make." And this was the first semester students who came to the auditorium. There was a big crowd of nearly 200 odd students. And they said, "Sir, you asked us all to come from the back bench to from the back to the front. And to be honest with you, we were all sitting in the back bench and we didn't come because we are planning to give our attendance and quietly slip out. But once you got on the mic and we started listening, we stayed for the whole talk." So I thought that was a very nice compliment to be paid. And the fact that students right up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock were coming, meeting, fixing to come and talk and discuss, and all very serious discussions and serious questions. The other thing that's really impressed me about this campus is I came with a very different mindset, and in fact tailored a little bit the way I was presenting or talking, because I assumed that, like all university, this would be a very elite kind of crowd who by and large wouldn't be interested in all this. They were doing it because it's a course requirement and so on. I was quite surprised to find that first and foremost, I'm sure there are many of them come from very elite backgrounds, but a vast majority of students are coming from rural areas, are coming from lower economic strata, and that it is not an English-dominated kind of campus. You hear all kinds of language. It's lovely walking around here and hearing all Tamil, Malayalam, Assamese, Hindi. I was actually thinking that if I paid attention, I could have listed all the different languages I heard while walking around. And the biggest thrill for me was something unbelievable, was to find somebody from the Ho tribe, a young girl from the Ho tribe, which was the tribe I started working with in 1974 in Bihar, which is now Jharkhand. I lived for 4 years with this tribe. And to find somebody from that tribe here in this college was really, really thrilling. And when I reached out to and I responded and said, "Chilike Mina Buginge," she almost fell off because she didn't expect somebody to be able to speak in her language over here at the university. So this was, and then I also met later on somebody who's come here for a course. We met last night and we were up till very late in the night, singing some Ho songs and talking in Ho, and me recounting stories of my time. And for these, they are young kids, so for them to hear of stories of their tribe from 74 was very thrilling, because they are things that they only heard their grandparents telling them and so on. So that was a very pleasant and in some ways a highlight of my staying here. But the main thing was the interest of the students at every stage. And I expected that, you understand that PG students, especially those in the third semester, and they were students who are coming for their elective classes. And you expect that because these are the electives and they have chosen to, there'd be a certain degree of seriousness, which was to be expected, and which there was definitely a far more seriousness than I thought there would be. But when I had to speak to this large group at the auditorium, who are the first semester students who have been here only for a few months, I didn't expect the level of interest that I found over there. It was a 1.5 hour session, and I found everybody quite really interested and riveted and listening very seriously. And as soon as I came out, almost got mobbed with a whole lot of students jostling to want to speak. And finally we set up this where they could come after class hours and we could sit together, 5 or 10 together, and discuss various things. So that was really, really interesting. We had a session which was not in the original schedule but got added on for those who have taken public health. And so we set up an informal session in the evening, about 12 or 14 students. And that was meant to be a 1 hour topic. The Professor ID said it will be just 1 hour. It, I think, was about 3 or 3.5 hours. And the students just wanted to continue discussing. So this interest of the students was very, very interesting. And actually, I'm leaving today after talking to the person in charge of admissions with a sense of hope. Because one of the problems we are encountered or faced with is that we have youngsters who have passed high school and there are no pathways after that for them. 1 or 2 are able to go on. The vast majority, even the majority, the vast majority finish after +2, they drop out. They don't carry on with higher education. There are too many barriers. Those who do go, nearly all of them go to the local government college in Gudalur, which you may as well not go to, because there's nothing that they're going to get from it except that piece of paper, which I suppose is fair enough because that's why they go there in the first place, to get that degree. But when I see this atmosphere, I'm quite hopeful of working out something by which we can encourage students to come here, where it is a safer environment. They won't feel as isolated as they might be. And having said that, I must say that 2 of our Adivasi children have graduated from here. One did his postgraduate studies here, they are again in development studies. And the girl Maya, she did her undergraduate and also her postgraduate from here. So I'm hoping that this paves the way for many more children, and whether we can tie it up to creating opportunities for them to come back to their villages and do something after their education. Because one of the things we are finding is kids who are getting educated, going out, even getting educated in good colleges, like Subin, for instance, who studied here, after working in different places, I just heard from his father that he wants to come back. We have another young girl who studied at TIST, who took a very high-paying job by any standard because she was super bright. And after 2 or 3 years of doing this, she tells her mother, enough is enough, I want to come back home. So that's to me is a very positive sign. Many things will say, why are you doing this? You must encourage them to go, and so on. I personally feel that if these children don't come back to their communities, it is the death knell of the community. So how do we get these? But if these children come back, they need to be occupied. Which is why, foreseeing this, we have set up the Adivasi Innovation Hub, which is it's an incubator to help young Adivasis set up local enterprises, So we are trying to design these enterprises to cater to especially the educated youth who want to be in their villages and who can then have opportunities to be in their villages. So I'm really looking forward to this being the start of a long and fruitful partnership with the university, which we are more than willing to support what we can do or contribute to the university's thing, but we also hope that we will be able to take back and benefit the community more directly through the university.